I want to start with just the broader context here, and we hit this with Mike, but we're down 50% from market peak. You've got a lot of money leaving the system. Clarity Act, unclear when that will pass. Yet, Robert, you just raised $82 million. Mai, you just took over the entire crypto team over at PayPal, a lot of turnover there. Talk to me about why, even though we're in the midst of this bear market, well down from the market peak of 126,000 for Bitcoin, why you still see so much optimism in your respective corners of the market? We'll just start broad and then we'll go in on your strategy at both shops.
Yeah, so the last 15 years of crypto were defined by crypto native assets. There's a lot of assets that have been created over the last 15 years. The Clarity Act tries to define how they work with US markets, and anyone could make an asset on a blockchain. What we're seeing now is the inflection point between crypto native assets and the rest of assets that were created outside of crypto. There's $700 trillion of assets that aren't on blockchains. And we're at the real beginning point right now, the firing gun of those assets migrating onto blockchains. They're migrating onto blockchains because, crypto tokens themselves are extremely portable, they're extremely efficient, they're programmable, they're global, they have these incredible properties. And so the record keeping and the back office of every asset is going to slowly become crypto. And that transition is the biggest opportunity we've had in financial markets, probably of anyone here's lifetimes. And so that gives me a tremendous amount of excitement, knowing that there's a lot of growth and a lot of change that's going to happen as every asset becomes cryptographic in nature.
I think for me, it's we step back into PayPal's history, right? More decades of payments expertise and commerce expertise. So when you start thinking about payments, and I love what Ivan said, right? It's just money should move better, and it should move at the speed that we should actually deserve to have it move, which is cheaper, faster, 24/7. And so that's candidly what super excites us. We're payments geeks, nerds, you can call us what we want, but that's really what we believe in, connecting people across the world and consumers and merchants and providing them better ways to move money, to access, to have global commerce, to provide more economic stability for people and have businesses thrive. And so we get super thrilled and super excited about day to day. How do you take this concept of what is now proved to be, it's here to stay, and take that and put it into application and actual utility. And that's where we are doubling down and where our focus is into how really to make a difference.
That's what I'm wondering. So is that buying or partnering with the transfer agent? Is that, do you have Apple and Alphabet knocking at your door? Or what is, because right now your partners in this room, they're in the crypto space. So they want to make this work. When are we going to see a non-crypto native company come to your doorstep, or are they there?
No, it's the perfect question, because the first companies that are tokenizing their shares are crypto native companies, right? All of the companies so far have been people that have customers in our industry. They're the ones who understand tokens the best. They're the ones who understand how blockchains work. But that's not where it ends. Where it ends is every company saying there's benefits to having global capital market access, more transparency, real-time trading, all of these benefits and use cases. And so I think what's going to trigger that is watching companies that start crypto native actually take advantage of tokenization in the capital markets. It's going to be companies that are using tokenized shares in their IPO. It's going to be companies that are using tokenized shares to raise capital and follow on. It's going to be using companies to, it's going to be seeing their shares trade on ATSs or international venues, and more demand for their stock in general. Because at the end of the day, every public company, their lifeblood is the demand for their stock. And as they watch crypto native companies benefit from tokenization, I think you're going to see CFOs and CEOs from other industries start to ask their bankers, hey, how come we're not tokenized as well?
Are your CFO, is your CFO asking that question? And I'm fascinated by what's happening at PayPal right now. Because last week, earnings were tied to a turnover in the C-suite, new CEO is in. You took over the job, 8 months ago or so?
Yeah.
From someone who'd been in the role for years. So, do you feel like crypto is more of a priority than ever? Or do you feel like you're having to fight to get the attention of the new member of your C-suite?
Maybe a couple of things on that. One, I've been with the group for so prior to the GM
You
role, I
you
was
were just
head of
promoted
product.
8 months ago. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But yes, you've been
I
with
was
the
with
team
exactly
for a while.
Exactly. And so we were building in the space when nobody was in the traditional space where nobody was necessarily building. And so we really had a fundamental belief to really be the bridge that connects the traditional infrastructure with the crypto ecosystem. And
What does that mean? Because like I think of PYUSD and I think of stable coins, but like is there, and of course like you have the, offer customers the ability to custody cryptocurrencies, but what's like the cutting edge of like really bridging TradFi to the crypto market from PayPal's lens?
It goes back to commerce. And I know that's not like the most fascinating thing for people, but that is literally what we do. We today, just forget even crypto, today from a fiat perspective, we help businesses and consumers connect, and globally around the world. We help consumers to consumers connect, we help businesses to consumers connect, and businesses to businesses connect, and all with just money. So now if I take that and connect that to the digital world in the sense of like digital assets, we're a digital company anyway, so now we're just continuing to evolve in this space and continuing to innovate forward. So it's actually fascinating for us because
what does adoption look like in terms of like the commerce, like the businesses that are using the platform?
It's still early. Payments, stablecoins and payments is still an emerging use case. Stablecoins are primarily used for trading and more into that use case than they have into the payments use case. But that's what makes this so exciting, because it is no doubt that there's benefits of the technology, that it's 24/7, that it's instant, that it's lower cost, and especially in cross-border, especially in emerging markets, especially in these, it's a product market fit is absolutely there, but adoption is not going to be instant, and sometimes you have to be invisible in the layer, and sometimes you will be more forward in the layer, and that's what will make payments actually work.